You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts now.
All right, Black and White Sports supporters, we're going to talk about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. As we know, they made the NFC divisional round of the playoffs. They gave the Lions all they could handle yesterday. Pretty impressive, I thought. This was a team that so many forget came into the season with very, very low expectations. A lot of people were talking about 1 to 4 wins for this team. Divisional round. Baker Mayfield has a really good career year. You got Cleveland Browns fans yesterday going nuts because they gave up on Baker Mayfield for Deshaun Watson. I don't blame you for going nuts. I don't. I mean, I'm sorry, but even though Joe Flacco was a great story, I think Baker Mayfield beats the Texans in that game, to be honest with you. So that just, I do think there are certain levels, even to these great stories. I think Joe Flacco should have been the comeback player of the year, but Baker Mayfield had a huge argument for that. So there's been a lot of fallout. There's been a lot of reaction, particularly to Baker and how well he's performed this season and everything. As we know, Baker's going to be a free agent, and Baker wants to come back to the Buccaneers. They better get him locked up. All right? They better get him locked up, because if Belichick goes to the Falcons, you could draw a line straight to the Atlanta Falcons for Baker Mayfield. You could draw a line from Baker Mayfield to the Steelers, okay, as a free agent. Honestly, we haven't talked about this. Baker Mayfield and the Broncos with Sean Payton, like a stronger armed version and much younger version of Drew Brees. I mean, Baker's got a pretty good gun on him, all right? I know he's got to sort of muscle it up and fire it, but when he fires it, that sucker's coming in there, all right? And there's a lot he could do, somebody like Sean Payton. Antonio Pierce, a guy like Baker Mayfield and that attitude, that moxie. Hell, it's a quarterback version of Antonio Pierce as coach. Wearing that Raiders, the eye patch and everything. I mean, it just makes a lot of sense. But it's clear Baker wants to go back to the Bucs. The Bucs want him back. Mike Evans is a free agent. They got to get both these dudes back in there. So let's take a look at this. A lot of reaction. This is Greeny, Mike Greenberg. Respect to Baker Mayfield, who showed all year and again today he deserves to be a starting quarterback in the NFL. He's still young enough to completely rewrite the narrative on his career. This year was a good start. Hashtag Bucks. Look, I think we knew, and this guy even points it out, that we had a pretty good idea once he showed what he did with the Rams. This career was not over. The Nature Boy, Ric Flair, and this post went viral for the Nature Boy. At Baker Mayfield, we only met once as of today. I have so much respect for you and the Bucks. You played your heart out. You're a badass. I live in Tampa. I don't have your number. I'd love to hang out with you. You're such a badass. I'm so proud to say that I'm a Buccaneers fan. To the whole Bucs team, God bless you. You went places you weren't supposed to go. Next year, let's kick ass. Woo! Yeah. Emmanuel Acho. Shout out to Baker for a hell of a year. Replaced the greatest to ever do it and brought this team within one possession of an NFC championship game. Keep making believers at Baker Mayfield. I got to be honest. I mean, we talked about this a little bit yesterday. We don't bring it up enough. He replaced Tom Brady. And they went to the divisional round and almost made the NFC championship game. It's pretty wild. It's pretty wild. How about a little Browns action? The Browns really mortgaged their future for Deshaun Watson when they already had Baker Mayfield on the roster. Look at this throw from Baker. I mean, look at this throw. You could not have put it in there better than that. It's crazy. And I'm going to tell you, Bucs fans let Mike Evans know it over that interception, because when Baker threw that INT, my hands went up and said, Mike Evans got to catch that ball. I mean, that's a catch. At some point, maybe with all the metrics out there, we're going to get to a point where we come up with something that has to do with wide receivers that cause interceptions for quarterbacks, because interceptions are not all created equal, and Mike Evans should have caught that ball. There's no doubt about it. Bucs fans, let him hear it, all right? That ball was right to him, and he should have caught it. This is it right here. Right there. I mean, he had both hands on it. Both hands on it. And, of course, C.J. Gardner-Johnson's running his mouth. I don't know why. Baker gave y'all hell yesterday. He gave y'all hell. Oof. That was entirely on Mike Evans. Absolutely can't do that. Baker Mayfield, when he gets charged an interception for a pass that hits Mike Evans in the hands. Interceptions are a Mike Evans stat. Woo, little Mike Evans shrapnel. Mike Greenberg. That's completely on Mike Evans, who dropped everything last week and just handed the Lions all the mojo. Right off the hands of Mike Evans, what's going on with him? Question mark. He's been struggling a little bit. Mike Evans turning into Quentin Johnson, not an ideal turn of events for the Bucs. Jiminy Christmas. Mike Evans got two hands on it and played volleyball. Joe Bucs fan. What the hell, Mike Evans? Look, a lot of people are wondering, and Jason Light came out and said, because Mike Evans is a free agent, so is Baker. Baker wants Mike Evans back. He wants to come back. Jason Light says he wants Mike Evans back. Todd Bowles most definitely wants Baker Mayfield back. He made that clear yesterday. So, this is what Baker said about next year, all right, and keeping the band together. All right, Buccaneers, who is this? Joff Alfer over at PFT. Buccaneers quarterback Baker Mayfield threw 3 touchdowns in Detroit on Sunday, but his final pass was picked off by Derek Barnes with just over a minute left in the game. Bucs lost 31-23. Mayfield joined the Bucs on a 1-year deal as a free agent last year, and his first season was a big rebound after a couple of down years spent with the Browns, Panthers, and Rams. Mayfield threw for 4,044 yards and 28 touchdowns during the regular season. He threw for 337 yards and 3 touchdowns in a playoff win over the Eagles. He destroyed the NFC champions. Destroyed them. And there were 5 big-time drops in that game, including Mike Evans. He dropped what would have been a touchdown. That was about a 40-yard bomb from Mayfield. After the game, head coach Todd Bowles said that Mayfield, quote, definitely earned a new contract. And Mayfield said he likes the idea of having another year in the offense. The only problem is Dave Canales. Is he going to be around? All right, I could see all of a sudden the Panthers hiring somebody like him. Okay? Quote, I love this group, Mayfield said via the team's website. I've said all year, and it's authentic. It would mean a lot to me to bring back a lot of key pieces, to get this back together, to get into year 2 in the system. I feel like we can make huge strides. I would love that. Obviously, we'll see how this is going to play out, but I can't say enough about this organization and the opportunity they gave me this year. Yeah. So it's going to be a massive, massive story this offseason. It's going to be one of the biggest stories we'll cover on this channel, is what's going to happen with Baker Mayfield. You got to try to get him back in there. My God. I understand he didn't live up to number 1 overall draft pick status, but he's had so much offensive coordinator chaos and coach chaos around the Browns and the Panthers. And then finally, you see what happens, and I talk about coaching all the time on this channel and how important it is. Gets to an offensive-minded coach like Sean McVay, immediately stabilizes Baker, all right? Then he gets to Dave Canales, and this thing stabilizes, and Baker starts rising. It's so weird because Baker he seems like the perfect kind of quarterback for the Bucs and a lot of these other teams that I named. But, man, he would still look good in Cleveland. You know what I mean? I mean, I know that's not going to happen, But for that team and for that city and for Tampa Bay, it's two cities that one city didn't want him. Their idiot owner didn't want him. Played hurt for him. It's crazy. It's crazy what Baker Mayfield has done. He has flipped the narrative around. You're still going to get haters. There'll be haters on this video. Some people just, if you're not a dual threat, me and John talked about this yesterday. A pure dual threat quarterback has yet to win a Super Bowl. Not a single one. Not a single one. I don't want to hear Mahomes, and Mahomes is a pocket quarterback that can scramble. There's a difference there. Aaron Rodgers, pocket quarterback that can scramble. There's a difference. These designed run quarterbacks, Cam, Michael Vick, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, none of them have actually won a Super Bowl. I mean, it just sort of is what it is. I don't really even call Russell Wilson. He's not one of these actual dual threat quarterbacks either, I don't think. In my opinion, anyway. Tell me what you think. Peace. I'm out. Till next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.